Welcome back to the Voices of Women Summit in honor of International Women's Day 2024. Your host for this session is Julie Cotton. Julie is the somatic and play coach, as well as the founder of Next Level Improv. She is currently playing Peter Pan in a local theater. Julie has another amazing guest coming right up. Take it away.
Thank you so much. I am honored I get to share our next guest with you, our speaker, Miss Rachel Rose. She is a global keynote speaker. She is a positive intelligence coach and the creator of the 5 Steps to Radical Resiliency method, which guides individuals as they transition through total life changes in self, health, and wealth. She's also a motivational speaker and has given a TEDx talk, Secure Your Own Oxygen Mask. We are delighted to hear from Miss Rachel Rose today. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your talk today that you're sharing with our audience here and those who get to listen on the replay. Is the price of perfection. Oh my goodness, the cost that's measured in the currency of our soul. Can you please tell us a little bit about why you're passionate about that topic in particular?
Well, 5 years ago, I became an expert in resiliency and, the price of perfection through positive mindset and living through life and living through trauma. And I was told that I had a fatal brain injury when I got to the ER after a weekend snowboard trip. It wasn't even an accident. And I had my youngest of 3, and they literally came in and said, "Kiss your son goodbye and find him a ride home. You have a fatal brain injury and we can't save you." And I, 3 years later, had a goal to do a TED Talk, and I just finished a book. And when interviewed on a podcast with my neurologist, 86% of people that sustain this injury die, commit suicide, or end up in assisted living. And he said that he attributed my remarkable recovery, miraculous, to mindset, 100% mindset. So that is what I share. And the 5 Steps to Radical Resilience was created in hindsight. So just to help everybody realize the power of our mindset.
Yeah. Wow. Rachel, congratulations. Thank you for being a walking miracle. And thank you for being bold and sharing what worked for you with other people who may be struggling. That's huge.
I feel like when I was in the ER and the doctor said, "We can't save you," we all have a tendency so many times to allow others to put their opinions or judgments, right, on ourselves. And I'm just wondering from the audience if they've ever been told something, and this is about taking your power back and trusting your intuition and knowing what's best for ourselves, even if someone's telling us. It's really our decisions that create the outcome and our destiny.
Yeah. That's so powerful because how many times have we heard anything? It doesn't have to even be a doctor. It could be a teacher, it could be a parent, somebody that says something that's maybe how they see the world. And they're trying to, they don't mean to, but they're just telling us what they've experienced, what they know, and it doesn't have to be true for us.
Exactly. Like, think about, even as I know there's so many entrepreneurs, and when you tell your family or friends what you're going to do, and they look at you and they tell you, "Well, I don't know if that's such a good idea." Even my mom was recently at a talk I gave for a group of women, and she said to me, "How do you make money? Are you sure you're going to be okay?" So I think it's very important for us to know and trust ourselves and
Yeah.
believe in ourselves.
That's so huge. It's like, I feel like that's all of it, right? Like that could be the mic drop. And then
Yeah.
how do we do that, right? Like when we were born, I mean, like, what was it for you? Like, how did you have that almost like a reservoir or bank of positivity to know? Because some people may not have had that in their
Yes.
mind at all, that they could overcome something that somebody told them, right? Like, what was it
Yes.
for? How did that get in there to begin with?
When I woke up 3 days later and heard the beeping in the ICU, I knew that I just had to make a decision. And honestly, at that point, it was about my children. It was
Yeah.
about, this is not the mountain I'm going to die on, and I can't leave these kids. And that was my initial commitment. Sometimes we do things for others that maybe we don't know if we have the strength to do for ourselves. But I think that is such a big part of the positive intelligence, and trusting and knowing that there are always gifts and opportunities from any circumstance, trauma, unexpected situation that we're going through. And I don't know if anyone's ever read the book or heard the book Going on a Bear Hunt, but
Oh, no.
right, the family, they want to catch a big bear. And every time they come upon different obstacles, they can't go over them, they can't go under them, they can't go around them, they have to go through them. And that is what the 5 steps to radical resiliency does for people, to create almost like a roadmap to the things that naturally happen when we're presented with something that seems unsurmountable in front of us. And trauma for everyone is different. For some, it doesn't have to be a near-death experience. It could be a conversation, right? It could be so many different things that just catch us off guard, or that we weren't expecting to feel how we're feeling.
So do we get to know some of these steps today? Are you going to give us some
I
of
would
them?
love, I would love.
Yeah. Yes, please.
So every circumstance gives us, and situation, everything that we're going through always gives us 3 gifts. And this is the best part: the gift of knowledge, the gift of power, and the gift of inspired action. And when you trust and know, no matter how bad things are, no matter how hopeless you might feel, but when you trust and know, I know there's something on the other side of this. I don't know why this is happening to me, that, like the saying, it's happening for me, but I
Mhm.
know on the other side that there are going to be gifts and opportunities. And that is what gets you through. So the knowledge is, whatever you're going through now, is to be able to look at it. And this is where the positivity comes in. Instead of, well, we all go through the victim and the why me and the pity party, and that's the first step. And you kind of, nobody goes into a situation without it assessing what's really happening, right? If you think about, God forbid, a natural disaster, they don't just start rebuilding things. They come in and they look around and they assess what needs to be done. And so it's okay to be in that place. And when you're in that place of acknowledgement or victim or blame, what's important is, and what can flip you to the positivity, is to think about, what is this here to teach me now that in the future it will cost me less? And so that is the first step of acknowledgement and the gift of knowledge. And the second is the gift of power, and that's where we take ownership and we decide what the outcome is going to be. That's when
Mhm.
I said, I am not going to die. I am not. And it sounds crazy, and you don't need to know how, You
Yeah.
just need to decide, right? You
Yeah.
just need to burn the boats and commit to what the outcome you want. Like Tony Robbins, there's many people that say it's not our circumstances, but our decisions that ultimately determine our destiny. And it's very important. And so you think about when you decide, you think about whatever this is you're going through, almost like a weight at the gym. And this
Mhm.
is the gift of power because it's making you stronger. Because when you
Mhm.
come out on the other side of this, I don't want to say you're going to be a different person. I feel like now in hindsight, I realize you're going to be the person that you're meant to be
Yeah.
because that's the whole purpose of this.
Yes.
And so many of us, if someone were to ask us, what are you grateful for in your life? And everyone I'm sure is thinking, I'm so grateful this happened. I wish this didn't happen. But
Mm.
it's the things that we wish that didn't happen that give us what we are grateful for.
Yeah.
And if we got rid of the bad or the dark, we would also be giving up the light and the
Mm.
gifts and the power
Yes. Yeah, it's so
of
interesting. I heard like the degree to which we can feel sorrow or pain or anger or the depths of our emotions is the degree to which we can also experience the opposite, the joy, the
that.
gratitude, the appreciation, the abundance, whatever it is. So it's like the willingness to have the both, like the yin and the yang.
Yeah, you need the dark to see the light.
Yeah.
And what's the most amazing part on the other side of it is that you're now able, the gift of inspiration, or the last step of is the reflection and knowing that you are now able to take on different things or take an inspired action that you never would have thought that you could, or you never would have even taken had this, whatever this is that you're going through, not happen. And
Yes.
that's the strength. But again, we have to go through it. It's so easy now more than ever to numb the pain or avoid the pain and anything that we don't deal with, any trauma or circumstance that we don't face and we don't deal with it, just gets buried beneath. It never goes away.
Yeah.
No matter how much we ignore it, deny it, it's not going to go away. And we don't get the gifts. And if we don't go through it,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
It's
that's
so
the most,
true.
right?
Ah. Well, and
There's
it's so
food. I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. I'm just thinking of so many incidences in my life and other people's lives where when they were in it, it felt kind of hopeless, or it was like, and then they just delayed it by like whether it was like addiction or avoidance or just busy. Busy for me is a big addiction. It's like, I'll just get busy. I'll deal with that later. But
Yes,
then it builds, it like escalates until it's like, boom, hits you in the face. Like, oh yeah, I could have dealt with that over here when it was just a little tap on my shoulder, but I had to
yes,
wait till like a full on like
right.
brick to the head. Yeah.
It's like the pain in your tooth and you're ignoring it and then all of a sudden it turns into a root canal because you don't want to go to the dentist. So definitely. And you don't you that the gifts are so big and you
Hmm.
just have to trust and know that they are there and that helps you get through what
Yeah.
and I love the word get. Right?
Hmm.
Because when you think, I can't believe I have to do this, or how am I going to do this, or what? But if you think in your head, I get to do this today, I get to go through it. If I'll give you an example, is let's say, and this is actually a true story, is let's say you find out you mold,
Mm-hmm.
God forbid, in where you're living. And instead of freaking out And what am I going to do? And how am I going to deal with this? And how is it affecting my health? The positive and the gifts and opportunities on the other side are, where am I going to live? Let me go apartment hunting. And how am I going to feel when I get out of this environment? And focusing on what could be on the other side is
That's-
definite.
Do you find as you work with people, there's almost a reluctance to step away from like the known thing that kind of keeps them small or keeps them in the moldy house because it's what they know, right? Versus the fear or like what's on the other side. Almost even if it's gifts and it's success and it's big things, there's like, yeah, but I know, I just think about that. There's an image out there of a little girl with her little tattered teddy bear, and then there's like
Yes,
image of like, someone kneeling to give her this big, huge teddy bear. And it's like, here, can I just, I'm going to trade you. And she's like, but I don't want to let this go.
yes, yes, yes. No, I love that. And it's getting out of your comfort zone, right? And another step, the third step that I think is important to share and to answer your question, and also we're talking about inspiring inclusion, is, and this was probably the biggest lesson and blessing, and there were many. That's my snowboard in back of me. It's always in my vision with a big B on it for blessing, is asking for help.
Oof.
And we don't think, so many of us believe, and myself included, so many of us believe that asking for help is the opposite of empowering for ourselves and for others. And when I had the accident and found a doctor, the only doctor that I believed that could help me, I needed to get to his office an hour away every day, 6 days a week for over 18 months. And I wasn't able to drive. And the only person that could take me there was my 80-something-year-old father. And at the end of each day, it made me sick in the morning to go to the end of the driveway and get in his car and see him waiting for me. And not only would he pick me up, but he would take my kids to school. And then he would wait 3 hours while I had my therapy and then bring me back. And after the first 3 days, he looked at me and he said, Rachel, you have given me the biggest gift of my life. He said, you, through tears, you've given me purpose and you've given me a reason to get out of bed every day. And here I was beating myself up because I wasn't being self-reliant. And all these years of thinking that we don't want to burden somebody, or we don't want to feel obligated, or we don't want them to feel obligated. But it's actually the biggest gift we can give to someone else. And it's so to give them the gift of empowerment and allow them to feel like they can be of service and they can contribute. And I can't even begin to tell you what it will do for your relationships. Because when we just give and give and give, how many of us are just, it's so easy for us to give, right? And then the second somebody says, do you need anything or can I help us? No, I'm good. I got this. I'm good. But and how does it feel if we were to flip the situation, to put yourself in someone else's shoes and know in your heart and soul that you want to help them, that you can help them, and they say no, and you know that they need you. And especially if you have a child or a parent or a friend, that you feel so helpless, and it's such a gift. And it's I've experienced it so many times since then. And so with today's theme of inspiring inclusion, asking for help is definitely a big thing I want to hopefully inspire everybody to consider.
Yeah, that's powerful. Yeah, it is. We don't, I just think of as a perpetual giver, I think of the joy that I get in being able to give to people. And Susan says in the chat that she finally feels comfortable asking for help. And it is, yeah, like the times in my life where I've let other people help me or I've asked for help, or, sometimes I have to let it get so bad that it's like, they're just like, hey, are you okay? Can I help you? And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, okay. But it feels
so
like you're
many.
this old belief that it's somehow a weakness, when really then that person feels like they are allowed to love me back, and it's like, no,
Yes,
that's so what you're saying about it,
yes.
picking up relationships and really blossoming. It's awesome.
I love that. And you brought up another amazing point is it's about self-worth. It's
Mhm.
also about having the courage and feeling worthy to accept the help.
Yeah.
So it's a huge, courageous step for ourselves. And then we empower someone else, and then we all benefit because now it's something we've done together.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm just thinking about your dad and like how amazing for him to get that much time with his daughter, to know that he's like saving her life, and then to get that much time with his
Yeah,
grandkids too. It's like, what a
honestly.
blessing. Yeah.
The biggest gift, the big
Yeah.
for all of us. And my youngest just got accepted to college. And the first thing he did, he was 9 at the time. He was the one that was in the hospital with me and was witness to them telling me that I was going to die. And the first thing he did when he got his first acceptance letter was write a letter to my dad to say thank you for driving me to school every day. I'm now accepted into college because
Yeah.
of
That's so amazing. So yeah, we don't know all of that far-reaching, the perceived obstacle and all the ways that it can bless, like when we
yes,
just get out of the way. So I think you have an amazing gift for all of our listeners here, for the people that may be watching this on the replay. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your blueprint to reclaiming your power, positivity, and possibility?
yes, it's all about this. And it's the first step. And there's actionable steps. Uh, I love the inspiration that's in there, but there's also actionable steps that will take you to reclaiming your power, because it's so easy for us to give it away and not even realize, and recognize the positivity. And when we're happy is when we also are able to connect to and reveal and uncover all the possibilities.
Yeah, beautiful. That's powerful. And I know you also have a gift for our VIPs. You want to talk a little bit about that? I think that's a ticket to your next event, right? Want to tell us
Yes,
about your,
March 21st.
okay.
And that is the price of perfection. And it's an incredible event, and it will give you an experience of actually building the right side of the brain, which is the side that gives us the positivity and helps us to see the gifts and opportunities
Great.
and realize what we have the power to do.
Amazing. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Rachel. This has been such a great boost for my like mindset, just to get a little reframe. It never hurts, right? Like we all can use
Mhm.
what you're talking about to stop and be like, oh yeah, all of these things, circumstances in my life are here for me. They're not
Yes.
against me. And so, is there anything you want to make sure you leave our folks with, our audience with? Any final words of encouragement?
Yes, one of my favorite quotes is, if you're still searching for that one person to change your life, take a look in the mirror.
Ooh, mic drop. Yes, hashtag she is not wrong. I love that so much. Rachel, you have been an absolute delight and an inspiration. And thank you so much for being a walking miracle and for coming and sharing your story here on the Voices of Women Summit. Stay tuned, y'all. If you're here with us on track 9 for the day, awesome. We have some amazing speakers coming up next. And also, there are 16 other or 15 other tracks. And if you want to catch some of the amazing women, you can do that live. And if you can't watch all 300 at the same time, you can always upgrade to VIP, and then you get a ticket to Rachel's event. So thank you so much. We will see you
Thank
all
you.
next at the bottom of the hour. Bye.
Bye. Mwah.
Wow, that was another amazing session. We hope you enjoyed it as well. If you haven't already upgraded to VIP, now is the time. Grab all the recordings of all of the talks and VIP gifts worth thousands of dollars. For any questions or concerns, please email our support line at support@voicesofwomensummit.com. We will be back in a few moments with our next amazing speaker.